Welcome all of you again. In the previous lecture, we have understood about the respective refractive index, and we have seen if the light enters from air to water, the respective refractive index in that case is reciprocal to that of the refractive index if the light enters from water to air, just like this. This respective refractive index are reciprocal to each other if we follows the principle of reversibility. Now you just think of that, are we following the NCERT? Exactly. But if we follow the NCERT here, the things that I am telling you, I am just telling you just like a general knowledge of GK. You just know that topics, but what is the simple basic calculation or the science behind it, you don't know. So I am telling something which is maybe not in the NCERT book, but it is necessary for knowing, for understanding. Okay. Now I am asking what is the second law of refraction? The second law of refraction, let me draw. It is an interface. It is mu1 and it is mu2. This is the medium of refractive index mu1 and this is the medium of refractive index mu2. If a light ray incident at that particular point, then N prime is the normal at the point of incidence. Now there are two possibilities. Two possibilities are that the light ray bent towards the normal, or there is another possibility that I am going to write here, mu1 and mu2. Okay, that considers the same thing. Here also the light strikes here, N prime. Let us consider this way, this here, the light bends away from the normal. Okay, so this is the diagram 1 and this is the diagram 2. When these two things will happen, that we are going to see now. And the Snell's law of refraction, that is the second law of refraction, that we will write in a different way. But before that, this is the angle of incidence in that case and this is the angle of refraction. I consider it as θ1. And the Snell's law of refraction can be written as mu1 sin I equal to mu2 sin θ1. Okay, I just take these relations as arbitrary. Okay, so sin I divided by sin theta equal to mu2 divided by mu1. Here if I consider mu2 is greater than mu1, so mu2 by mu1 greater than 1. If it is, then we can consider I is greater than theta. Okay, mu2 greater than mu1, then mu2 by mu1 greater than 1. So sin I by sin theta greater than 1. So sin I greater than sin theta and I greater than theta. So the angle of incidence is greater than that of the angle of refraction here. So I is greater than θ1. This is the initial path of the ray. And obviously here I is greater. If I draw this thing, then this will be I according to geometrically, because they are vertically opposite angles. So I is greater, θ1 is less. So light ray bend towards the normal. So if I want to reach a conclusion here, when the light bend towards the normal, at that time I can write, if the light enters into A, before that mu2 greater than mu1, mu2 greater than mu1. Here I consider this thing. Okay, so C by V2 greater than C by V1. Clear? So V1 greater than V2. If mu2 greater than mu1, then V1 greater than V2. If V1 greater than V2, the velocity of light in this medium, in the above medium, upper medium, is greater than that of the lower medium. So you can consider this thing as the rarer medium and this thing as the denser medium. So I can write, if the light enters into a denser medium from the rarer medium, if the light enters into a denser medium from the rarer medium, then the refracted light ray bend towards the normal. So this is the total fact behind this picture 1. So what we have got, if I summarize all of these things, if the light ray enters from the medium, upper medium, whose refractive index is mu1, to the lower medium, to the refractive index mu2. Since we have considered mu2 is greater than mu1, so the calculations gives us v1 greater than v2. Speed of light in the upper medium is greater and the lower medium is less. So this thing is considered as the rarer medium, since the speed of light in the upper medium is greater and the speed of light in a lower medium is less, so it is a comparatively denser medium than that of the upper medium. We can write down the Snell's law of refraction as mu1 sin I, refractive index into the angle, mu1 sin I equal to mu2 sin theta 1. Okay, refractive index into angle, you are following this thing in the time of writing the Snell's law, refractive index into angle. Okay, just remind this thing. Sin I by sin theta 1 gives us mu2 by mu1. Since mu2 greater than mu1, we can consider mu2 by mu1 greater than 1. If mu2 by mu1 greater than 1, then sin by sin I divided by sin theta 1 greater than 1. Then we can say sin I greater than sin theta. So I can be greater than theta 1. So the angle of incidence is greater, the angle of refraction is less. Okay. So if I draw it in the figure, if it is I, then it should be I. Vertically opposite angles. If they are vertically opposite angles, then obviously from here it can be seen that I is greater, theta 1 is less. Okay. So we can say, if the light enters from the rarer medium to denser medium, okay, then the refracted ray bend towards the normal. And if anyone want to calculate the angle of deviation here, because you know what is the angle of deviation, if you are continuing all the videos of this series, you know that thing. So del equal to here I minus of theta 1, that is this angle is del, the angle of deviation. Okay, so this is the explanation of the diagram 1, and from here till now our confusion is clear. Why? what is the cause behind the light ray bend towards the normal. It is not a statement now. We know the reason behind this. Now let us analyze the diagram 2. Okay. Let us consider the angle of incidence. Let the light fall on the interface separating the two medium mu1 and mu2 at the same angle I. This is the angle of refraction. I have considered for the diagram 2, it is theta 2. So if I write down the Snell's law of refraction, then mu1 sin I equal to mu2 sin theta 2 equal to mu2 sin theta 2. Okay. Here I have considered that here mu2 is less than mu1. Okay. Or from the diagram it is also observed that theta 2 is greater, sin I is less. Okay. So from here if I write down the relation, that is sin I divided by sin theta 2 equal to mu2 divided by mu1 equal to mu2 divided by mu1. Since theta 2 is greater and I1 is less, so I can write down sin theta 2 is greater than sin I. I can also prove it alternatively. By considering the angles, we can prove what is the relation between the refractive indices. We have assumed that. Let us check whether it is correct or not. So, sin theta 2 divided by sin I equal to greater than 1. Sin theta 2 by sin I means mu1 by mu2, that is greater than 1. So mu1 greater than mu2. So mu1 is greater than mu2. So what does it mean? If I write, it is C by V1 greater than C by V2. So from here V2 is greater, V1 is less. So the speed of the light in the upper medium is less than that of the lower medium. So you can say, depending on the speed of light, the upper medium speed is less. We can consider the upper medium as the denser medium and this lower medium as the rarer medium. If we consider this thing, then mu1 greater than mu2. The refractive index of this medium is greater than that of the refractive index of the medium 2, that is the lower medium. If it is, then theta 2 is greater and I is less. Okay, so you can say if the light enters from the denser medium to rarer medium, if the light refracts through the denser medium to rarer medium, okay, at that time the light bend away from the normal. Okay, here it is bent away, here it is bent towards the normal. So if I draw the initial path of the ray, so this thing we can say this one is I. So what is the angle of deviation? Angle of deviation is theta 2 minus of I. So this thing is called the angle of deviation. Okay, just see the angle of deviation's formula is now changed. That is the angle of refraction minus angle of incidence, but here the angle of incidence minus angle of refraction. So these are the two types of refraction. Okay, rarer to denser and denser to rarer. Okay, and after that obviously there is these refractions are for oblique incidences. If the light incident obliquely on the interface, then what will happen if the light strikes the interface normally? Then you will see in the next lecture. Thank you all of you.